Hey everybody, Pinstripe here. What is going on? Welcome back to some more Hogs of War. Today playing on Dam Busters, or at least the updated version of Dam Busters that we use in competitive within the Hogs of War League. And this match isn't starting from the beginning because, I mean, Dam Busters is a long, drawn-out match, and if we were starting this from the beginning of the match itself, this commentary would be like 10 times longer. So gameplay is on in the background while we talk about the idea of competitive ranks. Now, this isn't an idea that has, suddenly come out of nowhere. It's existed for a long time in games like Overwatch, Team Fortress 2, Rocket League. They all have some kind of integrated system that allows players to play competitively and get a rank based off of their performance, both in terms of wins, losses, and general, good performances during those competitive matches. Now, I've talked about it before, how, Hogs of War is old as hell, 20 years now, of course, so there isn't really any way that we can expect some kind of integration. You could argue that, maybe Reheated could have that. I mean, there's still the debate as to whether or not Reheated will have online multiplayer. I hope so, because that will mean that competitive play will be much easier, having to, not use Parsec anymore. That would be pretty handy. And I think I also mentioned, last year in the Reheated video that I made, one of the first ones was that they were looking at having an option to switch between the newly updated graphics, in Reheated, and having the option to switch back to the regular original graphics, but that are, slightly updated for the modern system of the PlayStation 4. There is enough context and detail in Hogs of War to warrant competitive play, which is of course why we started the league, and also why I created the rank up tournament back in the day. That was an invitational, and going forward I want the league to be less of an invitational thing and more of a free-for-all. But the issue with that is, of course, well, things we've mentioned before in regards to time and commitment and all kinds of things. I mean, I'm feeling kind of worn down by the league. Like, it's exciting. I'm loving every single game. I'm loving playing competitively, but balancing it with work life and the other, this channel, it's a lot to deal with. But at the same time, we are putting Hogs of War out there and saying, look, the community is here, the competitive scene is here. If people are interested, it's just another aspect of the game where we can draw in fans, both new and old, and get them ready for Reheated when it's eventually released. But competitive ranks is something that I would like to see. You guys know that I'm using Tournament, which is a website that obviously allows you to create your own tournaments and have your own league tables and stuff, and there's complete customization there, which is why it's the perfect platform at the moment to be using it for the league. But in regards to ranks, I'm not entirely sure if I can add custom ones, but again, the idea of it overall would be pretty sweet, especially if you look at the ideas you could use for the different rank names. As an example, using something like Rocket League, where you have bronze, silver, gold, diamond, platinum, Grand Champion, and the new ones they've added. So now that Rocket League has gone free to play, that's kind of the idea that was rattling around in my head when I thought of this video. Going forward, small balance changes are needed in regards to the quantity of weapons that different multiplayer classes can hold, and of course adding and changing existing weapons within the arsenal of certain ranks. And yes, I'm mainly looking at the likes of the Orderly and the Grenadier when I mention that, because, well, we know that there are issues in regards to the Grenadier being very overpowered and the Orderly lacking several abilities in regards to healing and I guess being on the offensive as well. Balance changes could also come to the Sapper as well. I mean, that's primarily looking at the addition of other weapons like mines, roller grenades, all kinds of things. I was thinking about it last night actually, what would the Grenadier have if you could change it? And I'd probably, reduce the amount of cluster bombs and high explosive grenades to 1. I would add ×3 roller grenades, as they do 40 damage. And yeah, just kind of go from there. If Hogs of War could have competitive ranks or even casual ranks, then it would be awesome because of the idea of inclusion. And like I said a minute ago, I want to be able to include everybody in the competitive scene being involved in Hogs of War and the changes that could be made going forward. With the Hogs of War map editor as well, there are ways that we could, change certain maps that aren't being used in the competitive pool, like Moonbutts, like Crater Mass, you know, maps that don't really fit, but that could potentially be changed to then be balanced for competitive play. I know that there are some of you out there that don't really care about competitive and that Hogs of War is just casual for you, and that's cool. It's also casual for me, you know. I enjoy both ends of the spectrum of playing this game incredibly competitively, but at the same time having just wacky, stupid fun time with my friends. I mean, you see the types of videos I make where one day it will be me playing competitive and the next day it will be Blimp City or Bobby Island or Party Island for that matter. There's just so many different things you can do in this game. And yeah, competitive ranks would be cool, but it would be a lot of work to implement, so I wouldn't expect anything from Reheated in that regard because they have their hands full as it is. But what do you think about the use of competitive ranks? Do you think they would be pretty cool? Have you been following the competitive scene at all? Have you been following the league? The link to it, of course, is linked in the description if you want to check out the channel and the matches so far from Season 1. We are halfway through the season, still plenty to go. Caster remains unbeaten. I'm somehow in second place. There's all to play for, and of course there will be the playoffs later on into November, and that will be streamed over the course of 2 days, with the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the final being a mixture of best of 3 and best of 5. So plenty of content to come in regards to the competitive scene. But I hope you guys can join us for that. And in the meantime, I'll catch you guys later for the next one.